This is the doubled portion this week of Bahar and Bechukotai, and I'm going to be reading from the second paragraph, the second seif of Bahar. And you shall count for you 7 weeks of 7 years, 7 times 7, 7 and 40 years. And these should be to you the years of Shabbat. And on the 50th year, you shall blast a shofar, a truah. So which is the truah? Bum, 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 bum. That staccato sound of alarm. On the 7th month, on the 10th of the month, on Yom HaKippurim, blast the shofar throughout your land, sanctify this 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout the land, liberty and release, that all its inhabitants may return, each to their own land, each to their own family. It is a jubilee. That verse is inscribed on the Liberty Bell, proclaim liberty throughout the land. It was a dream, and in the days of our people's residence in the ancient land of Israel, it's still a dream of economic justice, of justice for the land, of the return of the earth and to balance. And in the next portion, Bechukotai, and as we studied earlier this morning, the Torah and God's words through the Torah, if you follow my laws, the land will yield its produce and the skies will yield rain. But if you don't, then all kinds of terrible things will happen, and the land will take back all the Sabbaths you didn't give it. All these Sabbaths that the land needed and didn't get, the land will find a way to take it back. And so, at this time, we feel very much we didn't have the strength to do it ourselves, and so the earth, the planet around us, is calling us to rebalance. And it is taking back the time we didn't give it, the balance we didn't, the due we did not give it. And because it's a doubled portion, it takes us this week to the end of the book of Leviticus. So I'll also be reading the very last verse, which gives us a chance to recite Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek. We have been strong, and coming through this crisis together, we will need to continue to strengthen each other, very much so. In a beautiful Dvar Torah written a lot of years ago, 18 years ago, and then a young man whom I don't know, Benny Kagadan, perhaps some of you know him, describes the God in this last section, Bechukotai, the God who promises that the earth will take back what it needs, a very wrathful God. But he asks us to reimagine this God. Let us then imagine the God of rebuke as the God of trauma, the traumatized God, not the wrathful God. If the Torah is a record of God's relationship with humanity, we can safely say it is the story of one heartbreak after another. From the very start, God's most precious creation, into which God breathed God's own essence, proved an unreliable partner, starting with the indiscretions of Adam and Eve, followed by the murder of Abel, then the Tower of Babel, the generation of Noah, and on and on. Like any person that has been hurt or abandoned by a succession of fickle partners, God at the covenant of Sinai seems to have lost all but lost the ability to trust. We can now hear that final segment of the Tochecha, the rebuke, not as an example of justice gone off the rails, but as the disclosure of a troubled psychological reality. If you make me lose faith in you, God warns, I will rob you of your faith and the goodness of life, so that you shall feel what I must feel. And yet still the book is never fully closed. Trauma can be resolved. Even the oldest scars begin to fade with the right kind of attention and compassion. As the tochecha, the rebuke, comes to an abrupt end, the Torah reader slows down and raises their voice to proclaim, and even after all this, for where life exists, where love can return, the possibility of healing is inextinguishable.